You're looking at a pretty happy camper. I keep making the trip out to the back deck. Stoop. Well, not really a deck, is it, out there? I have a deck at the ranch for a little while. It's 176 foot long, and it's covered. You can see the mountains from it. I put in a gas fixture on the south side of the house. House is kind of a bit further north on the east side than it is on the west, and I did that so I could sit out on the deck and watch the sunrise, and I did a lot, really a lot, when I was allowed to live there. Well, before I guess I chose to live in the barn. Gives a real meaning to a lot of stuff. Anyways, I'd just like to read you something, and then we'll get down to it. I won't read long. It says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing." I'm kind of in that time right now. Been there a long time, actually. "A time to get, and a time to lose." Done that lose part. "A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love." Oh, yeah. "And a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end." Oh, shoot. The last video I asked, where is your heart? What motivates your heart? What is the passion in your life? I have a question for you. What people group can you hate today with impunity? There is only one answer, because there is only one people group. That in Canada, in the United States of America, in the world, who you can hate with impunity. I was riding a bus to work down in the crow's nest. And we were headed deep into a coal mine. We had to climb quite a bit of elevation to get to the place where that mountain had stood. And that mountain was gone. It was a mountain of coal. And it was covered in loose rock. Initially, when they started to mine that, they were going to tunnel into it. And they realized that the rock was too fragmented and it wasn't safe, so they just decided they'd just move the mountain. And we got up to the top, we would drive down into the very bottom of the mine. And the one morning on the ride, the first morning on the ride into the mine, someone behind me in the van, there were about 12 seats in the van, and someone said, "Who are you? What are you?" I said, "My name is Jim Martin. I'm kind of a retired rancher, not by choice. And I choose to believe in God." Well, no one said a word rest of the way into the mine. But a big man, giant man, whom I grew to respect and honor. And yeah, I love that man. Giant. He said, "We don't need another Billy Graham working here." And I thought, well, I'm sure no Billy Graham. But I thought, well, that's kind of good. To me, it was kind of good. But then, well, he was riding in the van going down when everybody went quiet. That night when I got back to my little apartment, two other friends didn't like me that much. They were on a different shift, thank God. And I said to the Lord, I said, "Father, I'm here. I believe you have called me to be here. I'm learning how to run a haul truck." I said, "Father, if it is not your desire for me to be here," but I said, "I believe it is." I said, "You must needs give me the talent, the skill, the insight, the perspective, the ability, the gift of running truck." And I said, "Father, I don't know what to do with today. I don't know how to deal with what I think may be hatred." Idea came to me. Is it surprising that you, trying to represent me to the best of your ability, given my creation, hates me, that being God? I'm not speaking for God. I'm just telling you what I heard. I said, "Well then, Father, how do I deal with this? What can I say?" As always, he said, "Don't you worry about that. I'll give you the words." I tried to think about it that night, and of course, I process thought, but I don't always retain it. It's a good thing, because then my ideas would be too influenced by my heart. What I would say would be too influenced by my heart, as opposed to fulfilling what I was called to do and say. So the next morning, on the bus ride in, I said, shoot, didn't like me anyways, I might as well. And if I was going to be fired, I might as well say what I thought. I said, bus went quiet. Oh, dear Lord, the old rancher. I said, I belong to a recognizable people group. We're of many nations, many colors, right around the world. I said, we're the only recognizable people group that you can hate with impunity. Whoa. I was speaking words I'd never thought of. They were good words. I said, in this day and age of political correctness, there is only one people group that you can be totally intolerant of. You can wax eloquently within your own mind. Well, shoot, you can say anything you want nowadays, as long as you don't dare choose to believe in a creator whose son willingly took your place on the cross. So I told them, I thought, well, I got the first day in. Might get fired today. So I said, the only people group in this world that you can hate with impunity are those who choose to believe in God. A lot of my family call themselves Christians. I don't call myself a Christian anymore. I did since I was 9 years old when I first learned not about God. I knew God from when I was 2, 3 years old. I said the only people group that you can hate are those who call themselves Christians. Those people who are tolerant. If you meet someone who puts forth the idea that they are a Christian and they are intolerant, well, know this, children, they're lying. Spelled with a G, lying. Because if a person humbles themselves and prays and turns from their wicked way in a manner that you'd notice on a Monday morning, not just Sunday, but they're sincere, the world will choose not to bother to take the time to read between the lines. They'll take the title that you may claim, and they'll hate you. And they have every right to do that. Because we are the only people group that the world can hate. and hold in disdain, and rightly so in many instances, because if you say something on Sunday, you better live it out on Monday. Well, somehow I got through that day, and somehow I got through another 6 weeks maybe. One day, safety guy, or no, the super, oh, what a man. His ancestors came from Ireland, from the south, mine from the north. We were still Irish. And he asked me if I could do a safety thing. I said, sure, I'll be glad to. He said, can you talk for 2 minutes? I thought, man, you haven't been listening to me. I can talk for 22 minutes just to say good morning. I can. That's without a coffee. Anyways, I did my little safety thing. I thanked every single operator in the mine. I named them. I said, thank you. You have taught me how to be a better haul truck operator. I backed over under the shovel, and it wasn't perfect how I backed in. It was pretty good, but it wasn't perfect. I said, brother, I said, oh, my brother, I'm so sorry. I said, that wasn't perfect, how I backed in. He said, Jim, well, they called me Mountain Man. They time to time would use my name. You know, it's my second name. It's William James, and I go by Jim. Now, thanks to a woman who said, you must be Cowboy Jim. Well, anyways, that shovel operator, he said, Jim, you and I both know only ever been one person who was perfect on earth. And he said, Jim, he hasn't been around for a long time. So don't you worry about backing in under the shovel in a perfect manner, because you can't. Do your best. You see, in that mine, there were many people who chose to believe in God, but there was no one who had the guts to let anyone know that they did and do believe in God. I ended up developing a few friends. I haven't spoken to them in years, but they looked out for me. They protected me. They were kind to me. They loved God. They just didn't want to be ostracized, demeaned. Well, they didn't want to be killed either. You say, in Canada? Yeah, in Canada. Don't you understand what is happening in our world? Don't you understand that the line is being drawn very clearly in Canada? We are, and I don't call myself a Christian, children. I call myself a man who believes in a creator. You know, I do. not judge another. I don't care where you've been, what you done. It's not my place. I won't judge anyone over anything. And I won't hate. I don't have to. I don't need to. I don't need to put you down to make myself feel better. I need but to live, to honor that Creator and His Son, and to honor all those who choose to believe in God. I don't care what your denominational religion is, your perspective. I don't care. But if you love God and you've taken the time to get to know Him, then you honor Him by honoring those who are called by His name. Quite possibly, you may spend some time praying that God will enlighten you, that He will touch your heart, that you reflect well His love. Pray for those who are around about you, who are making strides towards learning of God. Pray for those people who pretend, and in their own mind's eye, perhaps they don't realize that if you say something on Sunday and you live something else on Monday, you haven't learned yet the magnitude of God's love. Because you and I are the only visible representation of who and what God is. And you and I are the only Bible that someone is going to read. That's why I have always been concerned about what people say about me, and my God says, don't do that anymore. They may well hate you, me. They may well, and there are those who do. But He said they hated Him before I ever was. Children, get to know yourself. Get to know your reason for living. Get to know our Creator. Study science, please. Oh dear God, please study science. Study history. Study the people who lived so long ago. I am not a young earth believer. I am a believer, but I study technology that we don't have a clue about nowadays. Children, God bless you. Think about this. Just think about it. That's all. That's all I could hope to ask of you. Is there someone you hate? Is there someone you don't understand? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Said something, whatever. Take the time share of yourself. Doesn't matter if people don't understand what you say, the way you are, what you are. It is quite possible that they may never want to talk to you again. So what you say, make it count for God. God bless.